Shun Yi said the academy would make some preparations as well and advised Wu to simply pay attention to his students. At the Great Spirit Arena, the fight was about to take place. Tang Wulin noted that the mural on the dome depicted a youth sitting in the square with individuals surrounding her dressed in Sun Moon Imperial Academy uniforms. The youngster in the center was dressed in Shrek Academy's uniform. That Shrek Academy student seemed vaguely familiar to him. The teacher told them that this was the Great Spirit Arena's waiting room, and they were to wait there until they were contacted to enter the match. Tang Wulin was surprised because the room was so huge that he thought it was the battlefield. It was very noisy outdoors. Outside, the Sun Moon Imperial Academy students were preparing to cheer for their team. Gu Yue thought that they were bragging. Tang Wulin told her that they were trying to put them under strain so they should just relax. The rest of the team was excited. The battle was about to begin, and both sides were welcome to the arena. Tang Wulin decided to fight not for themselves, but for the glory of their academy. The momentum that had been restrained surged anew under the protection of Tang Wulin's bloodline energy fluctuations. The head of the academy noted that Tang Wulin had a golden soul ring. The teacher remarked that it was really rare and wondered if it was 1,000,000 years old. The teacher then concluded that it was impossible, noting that even the Spirit Transmission Tower hadn't seen any 1,000,000-year soul beasts and that only 1 or 2 historical records exist. The head noted that all of those records were related to Shrek Academy and told the teacher to keep an eye out for them. The teacher agreed. A 3-word battle armor master was there to announce the rules. Tang Wulin wondered if he was the referee or if he was just there to put them under stress. The 3-word battle armor master was about to state the rules, but Tang Wulin pretended that he couldn't hear him. He also called the audience flies and told them to spray insecticide on them. He was really getting on their nerves. He even removed earplugs from his ears just to mock them. The audience was enraged. Shen Yi, who was watching this on TV, was surprised. The 3-word battle armor master announced that the match was mostly a friendly competition, but in order for both sides to play to their full potential, it would only be cancelled when massive destruction, disability, or death threats were present. The victorious team would be the one that could sustain fighting power, while the opposing team was fully beaten. Tang Wulin asked if they were free to do anything as long as they didn't kill their opponents. The 3-word battle armor master confirmed this. Tang Wulin then requested to say something before the match started. He explained that they had come to challenge them because they had long admired the Sun Moon Imperial Academy. However, having only been at Shrek Academy for 1 semester, they were unable to represent Shrek in any way. He suggested they talk about how they were competing on their behalf. The announcer was enraged because earlier Tang Wulin had mentioned that they would represent Shrek Academy in the competition. Tang Wulin clarified that he had simply mentioned they were from Shrek Academy and that they were all 14, but he had never said they were representatives of the academy. He stated that they represented themselves. The teacher was enraged because they had been outsmarted by a 14-year-old. Tang Wulin added that it was fine not to fight if they threw in the towel. The announcer asked if they were ready to begin. Tang Wulin introduced himself to his opponent and told him that they were the worst their academy could offer. His opponent told him that his name was Long Chen. Tang Wulin asked him if he was the right age because he was a lot taller than him. He hoped that his strength matched his mouth. Tang Wulin's other team members introduced themselves. The other team also introduced themselves. Their names were Shui Liu Shuang, Yu Dingqi, Jian Mo Chen, Kuang Zhantian, and Wang Daimin. Everyone got ready to fight. Tang Wulin noted that his opponent had 4 purple soul rings. He deemed his cultivation to be equivalent to Wu Siduo's. His opponent appeared to be on the genius student's ranking. His position was a little lower than Wu Siduo's, but he only possessed 1 martial soul, yet he was equivalent to Wu Siduo in terms of strength. The teacher told the head that he had looked into Tang Wulin's team, and none of them were on the genius student's ranking, so they had the upper hand. Long thought that this was a great chance to become renowned. Shrek students would be the catapult to success. It was natural that this live battle would solidify his standing in the Soul Master Society. He was the Sun Moon Imperial Academy's king of aces. When he looked at Tang Wulin, he thought he had the upper hand, but then he noticed that he was smiling. His eyes were showing mercy. This made him angry. He tried to attack him, but he jumped back. A golden aura surrounded him. Long didn't know why, but he felt terrified. His entire bloodline was trembling, and the power of the dragon's claw had severely dropped. Something seemed to have grasped his heart. With 1 attack, he was defeated. The audience was shocked. Long was ranked 10th on the genius student's ranking, but still he was easily defeated. Yu, John, and Kuang, seeing their captain's defeat, teamed up and attacked Tang Wulin. Tang Wulin easily deflected Yu's meteor hammer. He also stopped John's shield. He noticed that it had a soul spirit. He used the Shaking Heaven Golden Dragon ability and managed to crack his shield. John was shocked. At the same time, Kuang was about to hit Tang Wulin's head with her axe, but she was sent flying back. Xinglan had stopped her attack with her sword. Shui told her teammates that she would be acting as sub-captain to exercise command. Zizi mocked them. Tang Wulin thought that when their captain was defeated, they didn't panic but managed to remain cool. This team was extremely conscious and tough to deal with. Jian Moken's shield was distinctive. It was a unique attack and defensive soul weapon. He told Xinglan that he would destroy the formation and the rest was up to her. He charged towards Shui. Tang Wulin noted that her martial soul was similar to Teacher Wu's Skyforced sword. Shui attacked him. He managed to block her attack. Her figure flashed, and the glacial sword in her hands had already turned into 3 light streaks. Xinglan decided to face her. Xinglan had a Star God sword, and she had a spectral sword. Xinglan attacked her. Both their swords collided. The teacher noted that both their sword techniques were extremely rare, and when they met, it was determined by whose cultivation was more thorough and whose understanding of sword techniques was stronger. Tang Wulin seemed to be quite a formidable opponent. Tang Wulin used the blue-silver impaling formation ability and managed to get close to Jian. He grabbed his shield, but he was pushed back by the tiger soul spirits with fire and light elements. He acknowledged Jian Moken and Kwang Zhantian's incredible teamwork. Kwang attacked Tang Wulin. He had no time to dodge, so he grabbed her axe. Before he could get hurt, Li Ji grabbed him with some blue-silver grass and got him out of harm's way. Kwang wondered how her axe got out of her hand and flew straight to Jian Moken. Wang's ice lance was thrown at her. This was all because of Xiao Yan's Starlight Chaos. The more she utilized that refined Starlight Shackle's soul technique, the more different she felt. She didn't appear to have completely utilized the power of that soul technique. Tang Wulin smashed Jian to the ground. Gu Yue used her blue blazing fireball ability to attack them. The teacher acknowledged the strength of all the individuals from Shrek Academy. Long cheered his team. Jian managed to get up. He threw his shield and Kwang threw her axe. The 2 weapons collided, and a Sky Tiger appeared, but it got hit by the blue blazing fireball. Even though the Sky Tiger was extremely powerful, when it got hit by the blue blazing fireball, it became translucent. The teacher noted that Tang Wulin's arm was changing as he summoned his battle armor. The announcer saw this and expressed disbelief, stating that a 2-word battle armor was not feasible for someone so young. The announcer clarified that this was clearly a 1-word battle armor forged from spirit alloy. The 1-word battle armor, composed of spirit alloy, was the prototype for the future 2-word battle armor, which could not be replaced since it was integrated into the user's body. In other words, Tang Wulin must have engaged in one of the battle armor's productions. The other components must have been finished by his peers. Their secondary occupation was likewise far too powerful. Tang Wulin's attack destroyed the Sky Tiger. Tang Wulin's team was proving to be too much for them. On the other side of the arena, Wang heard a voice from behind her. She turned around, but no one was there. Then Zizi appeared behind her, ready to eliminate her, but she managed to save herself. Then the unthinkable happened. Wang and Shui performed a martial soul fusion technique. Tang Wulin was shocked. Xiao Yan used her powers to hold Wang in place while Xinglan charged towards her, but it was no use. Xinglan felt that she was slicing an iceberg. She deemed her strength to be equal to Yan Feng, the 1-word battle armor master who had destroyed them previously. Zizi was struck. The strike was intercepted by Zizi's doppelganger, yet the blow also severely injured him. Tang Wulin attacked the fusion using his Shaking Heaven Golden Dragon ability, but the fusion easily deflected it. Tang Wulin's team was now being overwhelmed, but then Gu Yue decided to step up. She and Tang Wulin were also able to use the martial soul fusion technique. The arena started trembling. The audience wondered what was causing it. Gu Yue used the fusion technique with Tang Wulin. A multicolored light surrounded them. The 2 fused successfully. The other fusion attacked them. They evaded the first attack and caught their sword. They broke the sword and attacked them with a devastating punch. The announcer had to step in to stop their attack. Otherwise, the other fusion could have been killed. Tang Wulin asked if they had won. The announcer asked what their martial soul fusion technique was called. Gu Yue told him that it was called the Dragon Deity Transformation. The announcer was amazed and announced that they had won. In reality, Gu Yue had made up the name on the fly. Gu Yue then passed out. People had gathered outside the arena to watch them. Tang Wulin wondered how they would leave because they didn't have a car. Just then, a flying car approached them. It was Wu. He told them to get in. Tang Wulin regretted not getting a flying car sooner because of how conventional it was. He finally fell asleep in the car after attempting to stay awake for a long period. At the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Academy, a meeting was being held regarding that day's battle. The brown-haired teacher said they should have won, regardless of martial soul or personal strength, but they didn't. The balance of victory and defeat shifted because Tang Wulin easily defeated Long Chen. However, the brown-haired teacher was not sure how Long Chen lost so rapidly. The silver-haired teacher explained that Long Chen stated when he faced Tang Wulin, a sudden fear forced him to step back, preventing him from unleashing his true ability. This fear was particularly intense in the last 7-colored martial soul fusion technique. appearing to be a coercive capacity. The head clarified it should be martial soul repression, not coercion, the suppression of the superior to the inferior with the same attribute of martial soul. Everyone was in disbelief. The silver-haired teacher mentioned Long Chen's martial soul was the light holy dragon, a top-tier evolved martial soul, questioning how a stronger dragon-type martial soul could exist. The head stated the facts were undeniable, suggesting Tang Wulin's martial soul and light holy dragon bloodlines might be related, with Tang Wulin's being significantly more powerful. Dragon-type martial spirits vary widely, such as the beast deity who once resided in the Great Star Dou Forest, whose rank was above the light holy dragon. The brown-haired teacher inquired if the beast deity in the Great Star Dou Forest was the golden-eyed Black Dragon King, Di Tian. The head confirmed this, noting Di Tian's cultivation spanned over 80,000 years, making him a true king of soul beasts with the ability to transform into a human. It took several four-word battle armor masters to defeat him. For now, the core circle of the Great Star Dou Forest has been declared a no-go zone due to Di Tian's presence. Tang Wulin's martial soul possessed a bright aura, but differed from the golden-eyed Black Dragon King, suggesting it was another peak dragon-type martial soul excavated by Shrek Academy. Tang Wulin's prospects were unlimited, and the head instructed them to find a way to examine his information. The head also noted Gu Yue was not simple, as her 3 fireballs consumed the majority of their martial soul fusion technique. Ye Xinglan's strength surpassed Liu Shuang's, with her Star God sword art reaching its pinnacle. Xu Xiaoyan's control abilities were potent, even controlling the ice and snow deity instantly. Even in a one-on-one comparison, their 6 students outperformed the academies. The head instructed the research department to thoroughly investigate the match and provide the most specific statistical information. While in his sleep, Tang Wulin was awakened by Tang. Tang expressed concern, noting that Tang Wulin truly made him worry. Tang Wulin asked what had happened. Tang explained that the 4th seal had a maximum lifespan of 3 months, and that to ensure a successful breakthrough, Tang Wulin needed to collect all 4 heaven and earth treasures within that time frame. Tang Wulin was surprised, remarking that it was a race against time, and that he thought it was still early. Tang clarified that initially there was no issue, but something Tang Wulin did caused the seal to weaken. The 4th seal had already begun to shatter, and the golden Dragon King essence it had sealed was stirring. Even without Tang Wulin's influence, it wouldn't be long until it broke, and its energy would strike his body, which could be quite harmful. Tang inquired what Tang Wulin had been up to which Tang Wulin mentioned a martial soul fusion technique. Tang was incredulous, stating it wasn't possible for someone to execute a martial soul fusion technique with Tang Wulin. Tang Wulin insisted, explaining that Gu Yue said their fusion technique was called Dragon Deity Transformation, and mentioned something about Dragon Deity's 9 transformations. Tang appeared astonished, as Tang Wulin detailed the process of the martial soul fusion technique used with Gu Yue. Tang reasoned that no one should be able to conduct a martial soul fusion technique with Tang Wulin, but noted that Gu Yue's martial soul must complement his, although her martial soul being elemental control seemed incorrect. Tang Wulin suggested asking his teacher, but Tang decided to think about it carefully and look for any hints himself. Tang instructed Tang Wulin to prioritize 2 tasks: collecting the 4 heaven and earth treasures within 3 months, and avoiding the use of the martial soul fusion technique unless necessary, as it evidently excited the Golden Dragon King essence and affected the seal. Overusing it would be disastrous if the 2 seals opened simultaneously. Tang warned that the early release of the 4th seal would alter the timing of the seal's support behind it, making it uncertain how long the seals would last. Tang Wulin needed to prepare further. Tang Wulin resolved to earn more money to acquire more mystical artifacts. Tang affirmed this plan, noting that with Tang Wulin's current base, the next 3 seals should pose no trouble, provided his physique continued to improve. The full power of the Golden Dragon King's bloodline would not be realized until Tang Wulin's cultivation base expanded beyond 4 rings. Tang Wulin thought about visiting the Tang sect upon his return to complete various duties and finish contributions, which would make the spiritual objects cheaper. He wondered what abilities the 2nd golden ring would provide him, feeling excited. Liji, who was watching him, wondered what he was dreaming about because he seemed happy. He decided to wake him up. Tang Wulin was surprised to see him. Tang Wulin asked where he was. Liji told him that he was at their dorm. Tang Wulin was shocked because the way from Bright City to Shrek was long, and he was in a coma the entire time. Liji told him that the flying car made it possible for them to get to Shrek in just 5 hours. He asked him if he would like to eat something. He soon regretted making that offer, because Tang Wulin's belly was like an empty pit. After a while, he was finally done. Tang Wulin needed to get better fast since there were a lot of things he needed to find out. He had a lot of plans for the holidays following the final exams. Wu came over as soon as he heard Tang Wulin had awoken. Tang Wulin was happy to see him. He asked what their final exam result was. Wu told him that they got full marks and extra points.